Announce resolution 1. Are there any kind of changes to the minutes? We have, or what we have received was included in the minutes of the General Assembly from the IAC 2020 when we were in virtual in the cyberspace edition. Are there any kind of comments, or can we actually approve the minutes from last year? Yeah? Good, thank you very much. Then you have probably seen the agenda. It is very tight, and I would really like, in the light of everybody who is taking the time to be here for several hours, to really stick to your time slot, all the speakers, and that includes also the presentations of the host organizations for 2024. Please over your time, which is indicated. That would be quite unfair, and also because we have new members, and many of them are here and want shortly to present themselves. So we have to keep a tight schedule. I thank you very much, and I'm giving you a very short, brief summary because we haven't seen each other for a while. And yeah, the next slide, please. Where's Julia? Where can I sign, make her sign? Okay, wonderful. We have inducted 4 new vice presidents last year, and this Andreas Lindenthal, Nobu Okada, and Anthony Sugranis, and Chia Wang. And they have taken up their portfolios, and they will actually discuss about their portfolio. But many of the things which we started a lot of new initiatives. They're really, really important. And we also think that because we have been so much present on virtual meetings, but also made a global networking forum session online, and have done a lot of outreach. That's also why we have a lot of new members. Next slide. Okay, I can do that. So you all remember the cyberspace edition was something what the IAF have never done before. And nobody knew how that would actually go. You have probably been by now at many different conferences with many different platforms. And I have to say, me too. I have also attended many conferences, but the platform which we have used was really, really perfect. Very few glitches. And for so many people, there were 13,000 people, delegates from 135 countries, which were connected to the cyberspace edition, and we had really very, very small. So we also approved in the IAF General Assembly last year 19 new member organizations, and we are currently, until this late afternoon, 407 member organizations from 71 countries. And we have been really done a lot of outreach because, you know, we were not able to meet in person. The IAF tried really to be present by many meetings at the European Space Policy Conference in January, the Ilan Ramon Conference, that was Deganit and myself. And there were many fora where we actually gave speeches and discussed the initiatives of the IAF, and tried, you know, to keep the space community together during this challenging year of the pandemic. We had a virtual spring meeting, you all know that. Hopefully next year it will be in person. And this was spread over 2 weeks, and I thank everybody. The panels, which have really done very great work, you know, in remote and virtual mode in order to make this meeting happen. And then we have been very daring, and we have been organized the GLEX 2020 in St. Petersburg in cooperation with Roscosmos. And that was in June. And we had 800 attendees from over 30 countries. We had also 1,500 people connected, so it was still a hybrid mode. And obviously, one of the main topics was also to celebrate the 60th anniversary of Yuri Gagarin's spaceflight. We had, I think, 16 or 18 astronauts there, and we had the space generation there, so a lot of young people. And they actually spent the whole day together, so that was really a priority treatment for the young people there. And it was a really, really very successful conference, also due to the dedication of Roscosmos and the dedication of the city of St. Petersburg. And everybody who was there know what I'm talking about. It was really, really spectacular. So this was hybrid, but a lot in person. And then these are already conferences which we attended in person. Christian was at the UN Corpus meeting. We have both been at the 36th Space Symposium, which was also the first in person, but also hybrid meeting, the Space Symposium, which was very successful. And we have been in Baku to sign the contract for IAC 2023. And we have been at the G20 Space Economy Leaders Meeting 2021 in Rome, which was organized by Giorgio Sacoccio from ASI. And the upcoming events are important. First, one which celebrates our 70th anniversary, which is in Paris on the 10th of December. With an opening ceremony, then a panel, a lot of sessions, and a closing ceremony and a dinner. And I think you have all got the save the date before Dubai. And there is also the 5th International Space Forum at ministerial level, which has been moved around, obviously, because the region is still in very strong lockdown after during the pandemic. So this is currently moved to February 2022 in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, and is co-organized by the IAF and the Italian Space Agency and the Malaysian Space Agency. So we keep you posted on that. And you will hear a lot about the future IACs, the IAC 2022 and the IAC 2023 during this conference, and you will hear updates, and everything looks very, very nice. We got updates yesterday in the bureau. And we hope that those meetings are really fully in person, and that we are then out of the crisis and the pandemic. So there's another conference which we plan for 6 months from now. Between the 16th and 20th May, we are trying to organize another GLEC, a global conference for space for emerging countries. The GLEC 2022 will actually be organized in Quito, Ecuador, in cooperation with several actors. We see the Aralis there, but also the SANSA and also the Italian Space Agency are involved in organizing this smaller meeting in Quito in Ecuador in May. And this is because we actually originally planned to have the GLOC, the IAF Global Space Conference on Climate Change in Norway at this time in 2022, but due to the very large climate change conference of ESA, which draws really a very, very large audience and was more or less at the same time, we decided to shift the GLOC, which will be now held in of course, in the same place, Oslo, Norway, from 23 to 25 May 2023. And just the last slide, we have decided that because the IAF vice presidents have a very short term of 3 years, And it takes always a year, more or less, in order to get going and to make your initiatives. That starting actually this year, when 4 of our vice presidents will be exchanged and will leave, that we will actually provide them with an IAF honorary ambassadorship so that they can still promote IAF as an important and leading space advocacy body, and they will also get a special pin. That is a ceremony which we'll do the first time on Friday. This is also in order not to lose the expertise of this group, which has been worked very intensively for 3 years and will continue to be connected to the IAF. I think I'm done. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I know this was a very short brush over the last year. No questions? Okay, thank you very much. Then we are actually coming to the report of the SGSC chairs. Yes. Yes, I have to report that the president of the International Academy of Astronautics, IAA, John Schumacher, is just right now not available. We refer you to the statement in the General Assembly book that you all have, and we probably will see him in the next General Assembly. But right now, I would like to ask the SGSC chairs, or one or two, to come forward and give their statement. Thank you very much.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Harriet Brettel, and I'm the chair of the Space Generation Advisory Council. It's a real pleasure to be here today and give you a quick update on the Space Generation Advisory Council activities over the last year. So I'm just going to start off by giving a quick introduction to SGAC for those of you who are unfamiliar with our organization. We are the global leading organization for students and young professionals in the space industry today. As you can see, we have over 16,000 members in over 168 countries. So we have a really global reach in order to connect, empower, and inspire the next generation of space leaders. I'd also like to introduce my co-chair, so Anthony Ewan. Unfortunately, he can't be with us in Dubai, but Anthony was elected earlier this year to be the co-chair of SGAC. He's an emergency medicine physician and space medicine researcher in New York City. So he's very busy doing that, saving lives and inspiring the next generation, which is very impressive, and we're really glad to have him on board. Over the last few days, we've been organizing the Space Generation Congress, which for the first time has been a fully hybrid event. We've brought together 80 delegates in person and 75 delegates online at our annual meeting in conjunction with the IAC, which brings together top university students and young professionals through an incredibly competitive selection process to meet with our peers and really dive into a whole host of working topic discussions over the course of 3 days. So we had 150 delegates in person and online from 50 plus countries, more than 20 high-level speakers and subject matter experts, 6 working groups, and of the 80 attendees that we had in person, we were able to award over 40 scholarships and funding opportunities for people to attend in person, which was really fantastic to see. Over the course of the last year, we've also been pivoting back towards more in-person events, but really keeping the hybrid element to learn, to gain from the experience of the pandemic. So earlier this year, in conjunction with the Space Symposium in Colorado Springs, we hosted our Space Generation Fusion Forum, where we had 75 delegates from over 15 countries. And we also organized the SGX event in conjunction with the satellite show, where we had over 100 registrations and 15 TED-style talks and speeches. SGAC has also been really fortunate to have some fantastic global representation over the last year. My colleague, Davide Pacillo, who's our executive director, who's here today, represented SGAC at the second G20 Economy Space Leaders event in Rome, organized by the Italian Space Agency, which was really focused on space for people, planet, and prosperity. So we're really grateful to the Italian Space Agency for inviting SGAC to represent the voice of the young generation of future space leaders. Davide also was able to attend an event in South Korea earlier this year as well, so really cementing SGAC's platform as the global organization for students and young professionals in the space industry today. We also have a representation at UN USA and UN Cochrus. So again, my colleague Valentina Lucchetti, who is also here today, our operations manager, was at the UN General Session earlier this year. We had an opening statement presentation, which we do on a regular basis, but also 2 statements from our project groups, one looking at effective lunar governance and the other looking at diversity and gender equality. We're also really excited to celebrate our SGAC alumni, 2 of which have flown to space this year, which is really exciting for us in the next generation. Chris Basusan, who was our first executive director of SGAC, flew to space just last week with Blue Origin, and Sarisha Bandler, who was our Space Generation Fusion Forum manager a few years ago, flew to space with Virgin Galactic. So we're really inspired by the alumni that make up the SGAC community. Yeah. Next up, SGAC has really been taken to new heights thanks to a transformative grant, a $1 million donation thanks to Blue Origin's Club for the Future. This is really going to enable us to kickstart our endowment fund, support our global presence, fund scholarships to support international, regional, and local events. And we're incredibly grateful for Blue Origin and all the support that we've received to really transform, advance, and take SGAC to the next level in terms of the impact that we can have for the next generation. Speaking of the next generation, we also hosted the 3rd Space for Youth competition in collaboration with the UN Office for Outer Space Affairs. This was looking all about climate change, adaptation, and mitigation. We received over 200 from more than 70 nationalities. And our winners, as you can see here, all women representing the US, Brazil, and India. So the youth are really passionate about being part of the global space agenda and being part of the conversations that we see, both at the IAC itself and more broadly in our community. We also celebrated a number of awards. Thank you. So I have to apologize to Ken because this was the only picture I could find online, but those of you who know Ken will, I'm sure, recognize him. Ken Davidian we were thrilled to award him our Alumni Award earlier actually just a few days ago in recognition of his long-standing support of SGAC. And we're also thrilled to award Blue Origin with our Ambassador Award, recognizing the long-standing support and commitment that we've received from Blue Origin throughout the years and their commitment to the next generation of the space community. So we have a bright future ahead. That, I think, is the main takeaway we have here. And I'll just wrap up by saying as space becomes more integral to daily life, the role of the next space generation becomes ever more important. SGAC really empowers students and young professionals to be the change we wish to see in the space industry. And SGAC continues to expand and grow the leading global student and young professional organization in the space industry today, alongside and working very closely with key partners, including the IAF. So it's a real pleasure to be here and present our updates with you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Harriet. And we are continuing with the IAF officer election and the establishment of the nomination committee. And I'm giving the word to Sergio or to Gero.
Thank you, Pascal. Yes, this year we are, or you are, to elect the incoming president and 4 vice presidents. You know this, you have all been invited before the summer, and you have at the same time also been invited to propose candidates for a nomination committee. I'll come back to that. First, I think we should start with the candidates. You have received the list, but I can go through it still. It's Shedhara Somanat from ISRO, India. It's Clay Mowry from the Blue Origin, USA. It's Val Munsami Sansa in South Africa. That's for the 3 candidates for the position of incoming president. And for the position of vice president, we have Lionel Suchet of CNES, France. We have Kevin Stube of the Planetary Society, USA. Lisa Campbell, Canadian Space Agency of Canada. Jonathan Hung, Singapore Space and Technology Limited, Singapore. Stephen Eisenhardt from the Space Foundation, USA. David Petrillo, Space Generation Advisory Council, SGAC, Italy. And Marielle Graziano, GMB Aerospace and Defense of Italy.
And we have now introduced a new tradition that the proposed candidates have the opportunity to introduce it to you shortly with a 1-minute introduction. And I would like to ask Mr. Somanat maybe to start with the introduction.
Thank you, Mr. Pascal, President, IAF Bureau members, and all the IAF members. It's an honor to propose myself as the incoming president of IAF. I'm really happy to see that this year we could meet once again in the physical form for this IAC at Dubai. Congratulations for this beautiful organization of IAC in Dubai. I'm starting as a candidate with a strong background of working in space sector for last 36 years, serving Indian Space Research Organization through its journey of developing launch vehicle systems, of which are operational today, and also bringing these launch vehicle systems for operationalization, providing services to our country, and also to create new programs which very enthusing the entire generation of space activities which are happening in my country. I also want to tell you that I have been associated with IAF since 2007, being part of the activities in technical committees and also latest into the Bureau as a Vice President in charge of the technical activities. And I could serve under the present President as well as the previous President in the same portfolio. And we have done extremely well in the previous 2 IACs in technical content, also in the cyberspace edition. And we too have this year a very, very exciting technical program for IAC. Yeah, with my candidature, I would like to talk about